It's Monday. It's Mysterious Monday. Every day's a mystery on KBS. Welcome back, ladies and gents. Yes, we're here for our first pre-show of the week. And have I got some good stuff for us to take a look at? Kick back, chillax, and get ready for what is going to be an absolutely awesome main KBS show today. Just wait till you hear what I have got for all of you over there. And I'll be with you in just a moment. Kick back, chillax, and get ready for some Mysterious Monday woo. There we go. There we go. We're back. We're live on a Monday. I know. Usually this is the day that I'm a bit of a slacker. Usually I find any excuse I can to kind of put off doing a pre-show and just do the main show, but not today. No. No, I had good fun with the guys over on Warrior Mode last night. And I tell you what, I've been missing doing the pre-shows. Last week was really hard to fit them in, just logistically, with the shift that Anne was on, with the show, the time the show comes on. So hopefully this week, fingers crossed, we'll get back to our more regular pre-show streams. And I want to take just a moment to pay some respect to a returning lurker, or I hope they've been lurking. Blue Days out there in the chat. Been a long time, Blue Days. Good to see you. I hope everything's well with you. And we had Jose Ramon Francis, ZX, and Mawaya. They were today's 1, 2, 3 in the chat room. And I'll be coming back over to the chat soon to kick back with you all and get ready for today's KBS. And Leslie, if you're out there, you might be quite interested in this. I finally got something new to talk about when it comes to CERN. Yes, indeed. So we're going to dive down that particular rabbit hole when we go on the main Kev Baker show today. I've got some really interesting stuff for us to look at for the pre-show, and it really ties in with so much of what me and Scott Lopez talk about all the time. I tell you, when I've seen this story today, and no, I haven't read it yet, and you'll see why in a moment. I would imagine out of the 26 of you that are tuned in right now, yous are pretty much along with me and Scotty and the rest of the guys that come on the show. You've been here for a while, right? And you know, me and Scott, we always share a joke. We laugh nervously when we're reading accounts of high strangeness. And more often than not, there comes a point in the story early on where the experiencer, that the people or the person that's telling the story, they make the reader aware of some strange environmental factors that happen way too frequently for my liking. What on earth am I talking about? You surely have heard me and Scott laughing and joking and freaking out when it talks about the mist, the fog that usually descends either on a hilltop or over a wooded area, right in the moments before the high strangeness happens. That charged electricity in the air. Me and Scott, we often laugh, we joke. Like I say, it's a nervous laughter when we come across it. Bet Irring says, I'm supporting you on Patreon. How do I access the private YouTubes? Bet, I am going to have to hook up and associate my Patreon and this backup channel. Right now, the YouTube private videos have been going to the members on YouTube. And Bet, I totally understand if you don't want to continue with Patreon, because Patreon is somewhere where at the start when we first got demonetized, it was great. People jumped over there, and it was a big help. But then over time, it's been hard for me to create extra on top content on top of what we're doing here. So, Bet, if you want to leave the Patreon, I fully understand that. And what you can do is become a member here on the YouTube channel. There's a join button down below. I think you can cancel Patreon with one click of a button. And like I say, trust me, I have no issue with that. And I'm very, very grateful for the handful of Patreons I still have with me. But if you would like to get into the private member zone YouTube area, that's the membership down below. And I hope maybe one of the mods can explain that or drop a link for that, because I want to jump into this story. I'll bet you're an absolute legend, honestly. You're a member here. Okay, now, but it's two separate things. Bet, if you were a member here, your name would be in green, okay? So I'll get somebody to try and kind of, if somebody in the chat could possibly clear that up, because I've only got an hour between now and starting the show, so I don't want to get too distracted yet. But Bet, I'll try and sort that out, and I'll even message you over on Patreon with a link after I get off of here, okay? Take a note of that. Okay then, so the mist, the fog, the creepy woo. So it was today, thank you very much. So it was today, imagine my anticipation, my surprise, my excitement, when I head on over to, you know it, one of my favourite websites, The Mysterious Universe. You're fed up hearing me say that, right? That should be a drinking game. But Nick Redfern has written a story all about the matter of paranormal mist and fog and of strange creatures. Now, me and Scott have joked about this before. How we think that we're basically on the same wavelength. We're tuned into the same woo vibe as the people at the Mysterious Universe. Now, that's going to happen because me and Scott have been going to that website for so long, it's inevitable that we're going to start thinking about the same kind of topics. Not at the same time or anything, but it will skew the kind of stuff we look at and talk about. So Nick Redfern being into paranormal mist and fog comes as no surprise to me. No surprise. But I've not read this story yet. And this is another reason I was really wanting to do a pre-show stream, because I think this is going to be pretty cool. I think it's going to tie in with a lot of the stuff that we speak about with Scotty, all the Freaky Friday stuff when Naysay comes on as well. Let's see what it says, okay? I hope I'm not disappointed, but I think this will be a nice little warm-up to get us in the mood for some CERN woo. And lots more woo on the main Kev Baker show. So it says, in May 2020, I wrote an article titled Freaky Fog, Mysterious Mist, and the World of the Paranormal. Now, in the article, I said, as Linda Godfrey demonstrates on many occasions, where dogmen are often seen, so are strange and usually small balls of light and mysterious mist. Now, Stan Gordon, the guy that comes on Warrior Mode with myself and Bill and Travis and Derek, he talks about mini UFOs, little balls of light, not too dissimilar to what we would describe as an orb. Sounds like the same things here, right? So attempts to photograph the man-wolves are foiled time and again by weird mists and fogs that seem to envelop and cloak the locations, thus preventing anything of supernatural significance from being captured for posterity. Now, some of those mists are of an eerie green colour and on occasion seem to be the cause of notable or noticeable amounts of missing time. Whoa, we like a bit of missing time here, right? On parts of the witnesses. Or as ufologist Jenny Randall's words it, the Oz factor. There are also the words of Stephen Wagner. Now he says, quote, one of the most mysterious examples of paranormal phenomena is strange fog or smoke. The appearance of such an unusual cloud. Hey, Greg. Thank
For the
you.
Haggis Fund, my friend. My best to you and the chat.
Thank you very, very much, Greg. And the Haggis Fund is always greatly appreciative of little supplements like that. Thank you. Sam, Linda Godfrey is amazing. I need to reach out to her again. She was going to come on the show maybe a couple of years ago. Then something happened. Can't remember what it was that happened, but we had to delay it. And it just fell by the wayside. So, we need to get Linda on. By the time I get off this stream, I'm just going to be like full of notes and names, and I won't even have a clue what all of it means. I'm only joking. Of course I'll know what it means. So it says, the appearance of such an unusual cloud, especially if it's strangely coloured or has no apparent natural cause, may signal the presence of something otherworldly, such as a ghost or a spirit. Now, mysterious fog and smoke are associated with vanishings. Now, there's more on that mysterious mist. And you've heard of Scott's mist, right? Telling you, this is the land of the supernatural. Why? Because it's covered in mist and fog all the time. Just recently, hey, Karen, did I just see Karen in the chat room? Big shout out to Karen. And the Wookiee. Yes, indeed. 2 seconds. I think I'm being hailed. I misinterpreted. I thought my better half was needing my attention, but no, she's quite happy to get peace and quiet and leave me with all of you. Yes, indeed. So it says, just recently, I had what some might call a coincidence, and what others would term a synchronicity. We go for synchronicity around here, right? Around these parts, it's all synchronicities. It all matters. All the dots connect, or do they? Merriam-Webster say of this phenomenon that just about all of us have had, at one time or another, the coincidental occurrence of events, and especially psychic events, such as similar thoughts in widely separated persons, or a mental image of an unexpected event before it happens, that seem related but are not explained by conventional mechanisms of causality, used especially in the psychology of Carl Jung. Now, we get to the point of this. I was reading an excellent book that addressed the stranger side of the Bigfoot mystery. The authors, the late Rob Riggs and Tom Burnett. Its title, Bigfoot, Exploring the Myth and Discovering the Truth. Now, in the book, Tom brings up the matter of mysterious events involving cameras and photos. In relation to the Bigfoot phenomenon, Tom said that some of his photos displayed what he described as gas-like vapours or a mist. Doesn't surprise me. Oh, look at that big black cat. Oh, yeah. Lovely. But I wouldn't like to meet one on a dark night. Now, just recently too, I got an email from a woman in the UK who had a story to tell me of one of the nation's elusive alien big cats, or ABCs, as they are usually known. For decades, the land has played host to a decidedly mysterious and marauding beast. Ooh, that sets it a class apart. When a monster or a beast marauds, that's a whole different level of entity you're dealing with there. I'm telling you. It's become known, right? We had that, but no, it's become known as the alien big cat, or the ABC. Some cryptozoologists and monster hunters suggest that the puzzle is an even older one, maybe even dating back centuries. So regardless of when exactly the controversy began, the fact is that pretty much every year, dozens upon dozens of reports surface of large cats roaming the wilder and sometimes not so wild parts of Britain. Very often the cats are described as being huge, muscular, and black in colour. Now this has given the rise to the term Black Panther. I remember growing up, a few times it was rumoured that there was some big black cat, and I heard it being referred to as like a Black Panther. You know, at the time people were thinking maybe somebody had a great idea of getting a panther and then realised, oh, can't quite keep a panther and threw it out. I don't know, but this rings true to me, and I remember stories of that growing up. It said, which is actually incorrect, but frequently used by both the public and the press. It would be far more correct to suggest the creatures are probably leopards and jaguars displaying significant melanism, a condition which there is an excess of black pigment known as melanin. So while some cryptozoologists, that doesn't answer the question as to why leopards and jaguars would be jumping about either though, right? Leopards ain't exactly native to somewhere like the UK. I'm just saying. The jaguars, they've been heard of before, I get that, but leopards, not so much. While some cryptozoologists take the view that ABCs are escapees from circuses, zoos, etc., some take the view there's a paranormal side to all of this. And this brings me to Lisa Jackson, the woman who contacted me. Now, I would say there's not one answer fits all. I like the idea. I think that's very logical, very plausible. Escapees, also, you know, circuses and zoos, maybe just chucking animals out. I don't know, it sounds weird, I know, but you've got to be logical about it. But at the same time, I do think there's a paranormal aspect to some of them as well. So it said Lisa told me that she was driving through the UK's Cannock Chase. Now, that's interesting because that's where we had one of the recent doll cemeteries turning up. Remember the creepy dolls on Cannock Chase? And then we had some on, was it Clapham? I think, was it Chatham? Clapham? Can't remember. The other day, but it was another one as well, remember? It says a large area of woodland that has a long history of strange activity. Bigfoot-type creatures, UFOs, huge wolves, and more have all been seen there. Now we can add Lisa's case to the growing list. She told me it was around 11 p.m. in November 2020, and she was driving along a road near the old Shugborough Hall when she saw a large black cat that she too referred to as a Black Panther, walking along and covered in what she described as a thick fog. So, whoa, here's a witness talking about how not only she's seen the big cat, but it's like it's enveloped, it's surrounded by like this ectoplasmic type fog, mist, energy. I don't know what it is. It's what happens when the boundary between this world and the next gets a bit out of kilter, out of whack, you know? I think, in my trained zoologist's opinion, this little pseudoscientist that I am. So it says, where does it say? The weird thing was the fog was localised, very localised. It was only around the ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3. I tell you, there's nothing song and dance when you're encountering a Black Panther on your way home, let me tell you. Everywhere else was totally clear, and Lisa slowed down and watched the huge cat vanish into the side of the road. Gone. Out of there. Holy shimoly. What all of this means, I really don't know. But it suggests that we need to take a careful look at the ABC phenomenon. No, I think we need to be talking about what the hell's going on with this fog. What is going on with the fog? Remember the story with the hairy hands as well? We all got a good laugh at the hairy hands, didn't we? There was fog in that. Wasn't it the PC Roger Willie? Wasn't that the one that Jason was talking about as well when PC Willie was dealing with whatever he was dealing with? I'm sure his name was Roger Willie. Because that makes me want to laugh. And I remember he had a funny name like PC Roger Willie. But there was mist with that dude as well. There's something to the mist. Beware the fog, ladies and gentlemen. Beware the fog. Because that thing there, if that thing comes after you, that'd be terrifying. Terrifying. That goes way beyond Mothman, Mothman. Come on, man. How dare you? Anything.
How dare you?
It really does. But if we come back here, we'll take a little look at this. Freaky fog. Mysterious mist. And the world of the paranormal. Yep, Connie's going to have that song in her head all night. So will I. So will I. This comes from last year. Easy to miss a story last year. There was a couple of things going on that might have taken their attention off things. But hey, we're here now. Everything for a reason. Nick, you wrote this last year so that I could be here today to look at this story right now. Here. On the pre-show stream. And don't forget to join me over on the main show on TFR Live. Starting in 37 minutes from now. And we're going down the CERN hole. Yes, indeedy. We are. We are. There's something new. Don't panic. I'm not just regurgitating. And I like to get into a bit of that. So we're going there. So it says Stephen Wagner. Wonder if he was any relation to the music dude, the composer. Wasn't Wagner a composer? I hope so, or else I'll look really silly right about now, right? Writing at liveabout.com says, if he wasn't a composer, he was on the timeline that I come from. Stick that in your Mandela and smoke it. So one of the most mysterious examples of the paranormal phenomena is strange fog or smoke. The appearance of such an unusual cloud, especially if it is strangely coloured or has no apparent natural cause, may signal the presence of something otherworldly, such as a ghost or a spirit. Mysterious fog and smoke are also associated with vanishings, he continues. Such experiences, surprisingly, are not as uncommon as many people might think. And Wagner is not wrong. There are numerous such examples, and it's this issue of mysterious fog and mist that I'm taking a look at today. We'll begin with the eerie story of Anne Owen, who I interviewed in August the 11th, the year 2000. Anne had a very strange experience while living in North Wales. I bet she did. It was the night of January the 23rd, 1974. And Anne told me the following. We had bought two derelict 400-year-old cottages which we were converting. This was on a mountain above, Welsh names, Treffry and it's probably Llwrwst, near the River Conway. Listen, Welsh people, don't hate me, okay? Hate the language, not the speaker. We'd taken a caravan up and a horse, because everyone goes on holiday with a horse, right? As well, and our two children. We were in the caravan with the children, as we couldn't move into the cottages yet. That night, January 23, the horse was very restless. Oh boy, here we go. I can feel it creeping up. Oh, here we go. The horse. Horsey type noises. You've got all going on here, man. So we put him near our caravan. But later in the night, he started rocking the caravan and was in a terrible state. But the big horse is like just rocking the caravan. It's like, it's a horse and a half. Then we suddenly saw this thing outside the window. Obviously, it's a horse. It's a horse, god damn it. So it was like a white ball. Okay, maybe not the horse. Very slow moving. And it was going zzz, like something alien. It was difficult to know how far away from us it was, and it was pitch black outside. But it looked about 2 or 3 feet wide. And then suddenly there was an enormous bang. Absolutely colossal. And continued. The only person who was local to us was an old lady who was staring at it too. Well, she came up to me and said that she'd been woken up by the bang. She also lived on the mountain and had gone to her bedroom window and had seen these little men, and were very small and all dressed in black, about 3 to 4 foot tall. She thought because she'd seen the military on the mountain before this, that it was something to do with them, but she found it rather odd that they were so small. She described a little gathering of them, about 4 or 5, very, very early in the morning, and near where the tree was. But she said they didn't look too different, only smaller. Rather notably, Anne added that the day before and the day after this happened, a weird mist came down out of nowhere. This was nothing like a normal mist, and I remember it now. How Stuff Works wrote an article titled The Rendlesham Forest Incident, and they say, after observers reported strange lights, the deputy base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, led a large party into Rendlesham. There, Holt measured abnormal amounts of radiation at the original landing site. Another smaller group, off on a separate trek through the forest, spotted a dancing red light and eerily pulsating fog. And researcher and writer Brian Dunning says of this, hey Connie, thank you, says of what was seen at Rendlesham Forest 6 years later, quote, base personnel described the craft that they pursued as metal and conical with a bright red light above and a circle of blue lights below, and suspended in a yellow mist. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Connie. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know much, but I've got 2 pieces of advice I can give you. Never go eating yellow snow, and be very careful when you're breathing in yellow mist. Smelly. I'll be back in a moment, folks. A little bit of PPP, and then we will get back into our creepy mist. Can you handle the woo? And then we'll head on over to the main KBS show. Oh, it's all going on here, eh? And Bet is asking in the chat room if any of you out there lived in a haunted house. Did it ever appear like there was a couple of inches of mist or fog just hanging above the floor? Was PC Roger Willie called into the case? And did he have hairy hands? Hey, Lewis, eh? Lewis's bedroom has the most activity. That's what she said. See? So let's get back into this here, folks. Let's get back into it. So it says, and remember my tips on yellow snow and yellow mist may keep you safe out there, folks. Moving away from UFOs over the course of more than 2 decades, Linda Godfrey has written a number of excellent books on what many might call werewolves, but which are popularly known as dogmen. Yes. The Dogman. Oh boy. Linda's books include The Beast of Bray Road, Hunting the American Werewolf, the Michigan Dogman, Werewolves, and Real Wolfmen. Is that as opposed to some of these phony fake wolfmen that you see kicking about? I'm fed up of them. Imposters. Who are they trying to kid, eh? Arr! So in my opinion, Linda's book, Monsters Among Us, there's monsters everywhere. An exploration of otherworldly Bigfoots, wolfmen, portals, phantoms, and odd phenomena. Man, that's a mouthful. That almost looks like one of my YouTube titles. And my YouTube titles are no good, ladies and gentlemen. It's our most ambitious and thought-provoking. Section 4 of the book is entitled Creatures of the Shadows, Mists, and Lights. And it has that title for a very good reason. As Linda demonstrates on many occasions, where dogmen are often seen, so are the strange and usually small balls of light and mysterious mist. Attempts to photograph the man-wolves.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Okay, man-wolves are foiled time and again by weird mists and fog that seem to envelop and cloak the locations, thus preventing anything of supernatural significance from being captured for posterity. Now, some of those mists are of an eerie green colour and on occasion seem to be the cause of a noticeable amount of missing time on the parts of the witnesses. Now, let's be logical too. Could we be talking about gas that may be escaping from underground? Not all the time, but on occasion. You know, we see the big methane explosions that occur over in Siberia, leave the big massive sinkholes. I don't know what kind of gases might come up and cause some kind of temporary hallucination, but hypothetically, if I had ever taken fungi or any of these mind-altering substances in the past, my perception of time was always way off. And that's why I just offer it as a logical way of thought, just something to throw out there. Could it be something very this worldly as opposed to otherworldly? Maybe, but probably not, right? Because if it's not, then I would have to wrap up the stream and go home right now, and I don't want to. I don't want to do that. So it goes back to this here. It says attempts to photograph. Okay, we've had that. Or as ufologist Jenny Randall's words at the Oz Factor, at times the witnesses report being plunged into a different reality, an unreality, some might suggest, an almost dreamlike world completely lacking in sound and normal surroundings, but filled to the brim with high strangeness. UFOs, ghosts, dogmen, paranormal phenomena, and alien encounters. They all have connections to mysterious mist and strange fog. Does that mean all of those phenomena are somehow interconnected? Maybe. John Keel. Oh, now if you haven't checked out John Keel, fascinating. John Keel came to believe that numerous types of supernatural entities, the Bigfoot, the Men in Black, ghosts, lake monsters, phantom black dogs, the jinn, and more, were all part of a bigger picture that we were, and still are, unable to understand or penetrate. In other things, boom boom. In other words, boom boom, things remain foggy. Apologies for the terrible joke. Yes, indeed, they do remain foggy. But I think over time we do get closer to uncovering some of these secrets, clearing up some of these mysteries, and maybe some point figuring out what that mist, that fog, is all about. Holy shimoly. Okay, so we've got Karen in the chat room. Big shout out to the Gherkins. It says, I saw a set of eyes, one red and one blue, watching me one night when walking my dogs through the forest. The eyes were 10 feet away and huge. I caught them in my head torch light, and she herself. I pressed my censor button and Anne heard me uncensored there. She's thinking, I was a bit rude swearing like that, but you see, she doesn't hear my censor button, you see? Good like that, good like that. That sounds terrifying. One blue, one red. I know when it comes to the Mothman that Travis often talks about the red eyes, but when it comes to the rake, when it comes to some of these other things, we're talking about yellow eyes. And then when it comes to those creepy black-eyed children, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I wouldn't be surprised if we were to find black-eyed children stories that have a mist, have a fog. I wonder if there's any black-eyed kid stories that have missing time attached to as well. That's a whole phenomenon, isn't it? That's a whole thing. That's like a whole can of worms, a whole can of paranormal whoop-ass right there. Those black-eyed small people. Shh. There's some things that are just really creepy, right? And when you throw kids into the mix, it's like I always say, The Shining, those two creepy little girls. Man, oh man.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
And one of them thrown in as well. I tell you, that's enough for me to lose all of my all of my inners, shall we say. Yes indeed. Yes indeed. So any of you out there, I mean, black-eyed kids used to mean something else, yes indeed, but any of you's encountered any of these, like what we were talking about there? The mist, the fog. Karen, we've had the eyes that you've seen. That would be horrible. I can't even imagine what that would be like, eh? Because I think sometimes when you walk through the forest anyway, for whatever reason, it feels like there's eyes on you. Again, it ties into my whole weird idea. I think the forest is a living thing. I know. I'm mad, right? But from the forest floor to the canopy and everything in between, and even the roots and all the stuff underground, I think it's all one big living organism. I think the whole planet's living. But that's like got its own personality. And it's got its own little traits in the forest, right? Ooh. When you go down to the woods today, don't worry about big surprises. Don't even worry about dolls. The first thing you need to worry about is if it gets foggy or misty. And I would like to say at that point you can run, ladies and gentlemen, but once that comes along and once you see it, once you're there and you observe it, oh boy, you're part of that experience. Yes, you are. I'm not going to get all doom and gloom here. We don't do that. We don't do that. So Lewis says, when my bears come cuddling, sometimes there would be an impression of something invisible on the bed beside me. Oh, I'm just picturing you lying there now saying, I see dead people. Oh, that's a creepy kid as well in that film. What's that all about? What's that? I want there should be an absolute ban. We need to stop this cinematic trait of putting children into horror movies, if for no other reason other than to stop me from being petrified. No, we shouldn't fear the dead. That's a very good point. They can't hurt you. Fear the living. However, they can still put the They can. They can. They can't. So I like your attitude. I do like your attitude, Victoria. But you've got bigger nuts than me. That's all I can say. I'm telling you. Next time I go to Bleskin, you're going first. What, Victoria? You lead the way. Paul, hello to you. I don't have any friends, so that's really quick. I've got the alien. Got the alien, and I've got Coney. Coney no day that. If you're in Glasgow, that might be funny. Anywho, we're 29 minutes from the show, but I've got another story I want to bring to you today. Because this is something that I've actually... Get this. This is a topic within the woo that it's kind of new to me. Yep, yep. There's some bits, some aspects of the woo that even I haven't gone down the rabbit hole. But I like monsters, I like the cryptids, I like the Mothman, I like all that stuff. So I'm thinking it might be inevitable that I'm going to really get into what they call the Thunderbird. Now, was it Lon Strickler? No, it was Stan Gordon again. Stan Gordon was talking about the Thunderbird sightings. Now, the first time he mentioned it, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, right? I was sat nodding away and engrossed in the conversation and, yes, very interested. I had no bloody idea what a Thunderbird was. I was sitting here thinking, I hope they don't come to me. Thunderbird sounds like the name of a motorbike or something. But yeah, Thunderbirds, it's a thing. Check this out. So it says Thunderbird sighting, and I'm loving this website. Anomalian. 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 There's various ways you could say that, but anomalian.com. Good site. Thank you, Donnie. Donnie put me on to it. And if, remember, we're going to be jumping on over to the main show. You can get that over in Disco, but I'd love you to head over to tfrlive.com/chat, or you can listen on TalkStream Live. And we'll be getting into CERN. We're going down the CERN rabbit hole today. Yes, indeed. We're going through Alice. We're going into Atlas. We'll take a journey up the Linux. Yes, and we'll go down into the cloud experiment. And then we'll recreate the moments. Those very moments after the Big Bang. Ooga booga. But we are going to talk about CERN. New stuff. Don't panic. Don't panic. But that's all coming up in 27 minutes now. Oof. Time's running out, folks. So it says here, the Thunderbird sighting, a huge bird swooping down in Lawndale. The Lawndale incident is among the most important avian cryptozoological events ever to have been investigated. Great start to an article, I must admit. It is a modern, real-life enactment of a kind of episode portrayed in folklore all over the world. The attempted taking away of a young person by a Thunderbird. Thunderbirds are go. So its status was recently reinforced when it was highlighted on the 1998 Yorkshire Television Discovery Channel series on cryptids Into the Unknown. 1998, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there was a far simpler time. Dang. Oh, to go back to 98. And then it goes on to say, on 25th of July, 1977, as 10-year-old Marlon Lowe played outside his family home, along with open fields near Kickapoo Creek, two giant birds passed over. One suddenly swooped down to grab the boy, carrying him a few feet before dropping him, apparently because of his frightened mother's screams. Now, the incident occurred in front of 7 witnesses, all of whom described exactly the same thing. Two huge coal-black birds with long, white-ringed necks, long, curled beaks, and wingspans of 10 or more feet. Jerry Coleman of Decatur, Illinois, was able to interview Marlon and his parents. Let's see. Jake and Ruth Lowe within hours of the incidents. Now, 2 years later, he conducted a follow-up interview, this time accompanied by his brother, Lauren. In 1996, Jerry Coleman, accompanied by a crew from Yorkshire Television, spoke again with Marlon and his mother. I'll always remember how that huge thing was bending its white-ringed neck, Ruth Lowe remarked. It seemed to peck at Marlon as it was flying away. Though she compared the bird's size to that of an ostrich, she said it looked like a condor. After the incident, she spent many hours in the library trying to identify the bird without success. She rejected a local sheriff's speculation that it had been no more than a turkey vulture. I was standing at the door, and all I saw was Marlon's feet dangling in the air. She recalled, adding the obvious, there just aren't any birds around here that could lift him up like that. You don't say. So several other incidents followed quickly in the wake of the one at Lawndale. And the sightings occurred in late July and early August 11th in southwestern Illinois near Odin. The 1977 series of Thunderbird sightings publicly ceased. Now, this is interesting, right? Because Illinois is where we're getting a big flap for a number of years now of flying humanoids, i.e. Mothman. Now we're going back into the 70s and we can see that they've already had an episode, an incident, a flap, if you pardon the pun, of something big and flying about. It's just saying it doesn't, I'm not saying it's connected, I'm just saying it's interesting though. Viewed by some as a tall tale from the beginning, the Lawndale Thunderbird was compared to an Andean condor because the descriptions given by the witness of these birds match that of an Andean condor, a large black bird with a white ringed neck and a wingspan of up to 10 feet, which is 3 meters. Now, due to the size, speculation ran into a surviving population of teratorns to take into account the long history of Thunderbird sightings and the 3 principal migration routes, 1 out west, 2 up and down between the Ozarks and through Illinois into the Wisconsin Dells, and 3 from the Balds in the Carolinas north along the Appalachian Mountains. However, an Andean condor's talons are not strong enough to lift heavy objects. Lauren Coleman and his brother Jerry interviewed several witnesses after the reported event, and officials had begun telling the newspaper that people were seeing turkey vultures and letting their imagination run away with them. The Low report, impossible to square with turkey vultures, was dismissed out of hand. As public ridicule was setting in, witnesses grew quiet about what they were seeing. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Well, I'm going to get a little PPP, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll come back and then we'll start to wrap this up and we'll head on over to the main show. KBS Live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. Don't go away just yet. Don't go just yet. Because I'm going to be coming back to talk to all of you before we shift gears and we go down the CERN hole. There we go. There we go. I was just looking in the disco there. Ron had alerted me to something that I'd seen earlier on today as well. I got all excited earlier on today because I thought we had a new zombie apocalypse document had been produced by the government, but it hasn't. The story was talking about this document that the CDC had come up with and things like that, but they neglected to tell you that document's been kicking around since 2011. And do you know how I know that so confidently? Because I remember covering it pre-2012. I do remember covering that. I know. I've been playing this game a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Playing it too long. I think that's how I've become kind of jaded and, you know, at times almost sick of the rabbit holes I find myself down. But no, like Ron, when I'd seen that headline today, I'll write on it. And I clicked the link in the article. So either they've not checked their own link, news break, or they did check the link and they know it's got a 2011 date on it, but they just don't want to put that into the article because it'll take the edge off that clickbaitery title they've got going on, right? So we're not going to be getting into that today over on the main show, but we are going to be getting into some of the new sound stuff that's coming out. We'll be talking about that. I'll tell you what else we'll be getting into as well. Let me just give you a little taste of what I've got dug up here. I've got so much we'll never get into it all, put it that way, right? So we've got a bit of CERN, we'll be taking a look at the schedule there when it's going to be restarting, things like that, but they've made discoveries as well, okay? We're also going to be taking a look at some ancient woo, some mystery history on this Monday. Then we're going to be taking a look at some disturbing disappearances. I was about to say misappearances. Yeah. Some ancient technology. Put that one beside there. We've also got a story about how the movie Prometheus could be accurate. What if we do have DNA from extraterrestrials already in our genome? Yeah. We've also got something strange going on with apes. That's all I can say here. We've also got another story about, you ready? Space Force, but not the kind of Space Force story you would think. They've been showing off their skills at esports. Yes, they've been taking on the world at Call of Duty. I know it's bizarre, right? But then we've also got doctors are finally taking esports injuries seriously. Yeah, it must be repetitive thumb syndrome. I used to suffer from big thumb syndrome. Like I'd play FIFA that much that my thumb would swell up on the end. It would look like a big bulbous mass. I usually stopped when it started going green and smelling, and like a paranormal mist started coming off of it. It was weird, right? But we've also got another weird story about tech. Don't want to give too much away, you see. What else we got? Oh, we've got some a message that the Anunnaki left us in 1958. And we've also got why do some Men in Black researchers totally ignore the paranormal side of the Men in Black? So with that said, ladies and gents, I hope you can all make it on over to tfrlive.com. Or you can listen in live on TalkStream Live. Or you can head on over to the Discord. Now, Bet out there that we were talking to earlier, not sure if you know how to use Discord, but that's somewhere where you can keep up to date with all things KBS and so much more. Because it's not just me in there, there's other content creators. There's people open up voice chats at night after the main show. They hang out, they yarn. And it's awesome. There's always something going on over there. There's something for everyone. And it's somewhere you can go and chill out and hang out when the show isn't on, when you're at a loose end. There's rooms and rooms and rooms of information of woo for all of you to check out over there as well that people periodically drop in. So I'd love to see you over there. But if not, please join me over on tfrlive.com/chat. You can get into the chat room. And I'll be back here tomorrow. Same time, same place, Nano Girl tomorrow night. And on Wednesday night, we have got Brad Olson. And on Thursday night, we've got a brand new guest. She draws dead people. Mercedes Benedict is going to be coming onto the show, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what makes it another great week of live shows right here on KBS with me, the maddest guy on YouTube. But you know I love you, right? You know I do. And I hope you love me too. But I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be back on the main show in 13 minutes. So get ready. Hold on tight. We're going down the CERN hole. Thank you, Thor. Thank you, Cinny. That's why I like the pre-show as well, dude. I like to hang out with people. It gets me in the mood for the main show. And I get as much from you people out there as you get from me. It's a two-way street, folks. The love relationship.